Hello and welcome to 2022. We haven't said these words to you in 2022, so I thought before beginning our first video in this year, I'll say that. And may this year bring a lot more cricketing action to all of us, a lot more exciting cricketing action to all of us than we saw in 2021. और श्री गणेश करते हैं 2022 का. I have with me, of course, Abhishek Mukherjee, and we are going to talk about the second test match, preview the second test match between South Africa and India in this three-test series. India, of course, leading 1-0. That 113-run win in Centurion is what has kept them in lead. And Abhishek, I think pretty fairly confident going into Johannesburg. They haven't lost a test there. They've played 5 test matches and haven't
India's
lost
fortress. India's fortress.
We so often talk about this. By the way, we started talking about fortresses way back in the beginning of 2021. And since then, India has been good at breaking fortresses. Now they have one of their own to start 2022 with.
Okay,
But you don't mind. I know it's a series win that
okay.
matters.
Let's see this. India breached the Gaba fortress. India, that's India men. India women kept their unbeaten streak in England intact. They have still not lost a test match in England. India women ended Australia's streak. India men again ended this streak at Centurion. I mean, India won their first test match in Centurion. South Africa have a terrific record. And now they have to keep this streak going. Slowly, see, India have a lot of home grounds you can call fortresses. It's time to build fortresses overseas in Siena countries.
Wow, that's going to be some domination map across the world. And I think this team is very much capable of it. We've seen the demonstration in the last test, of course. But how big a task is it for Dean Elgar and his men going into the second test to avoid a defeat, and then B, probably go and win?
Huge. I mean, I still believe South Africa have the bowling attack to win the test match. They have the bowling attack. But I don't think we saw the best of Rabada.
Yeah.
I don't know what the status on Olivier is. I think if Rabada has to be at his best for South Africa to win this match. And if that happens, I don't know. I mean, I think it is often, as we have seen, it's a matter of 50 over phase, 30 over phase, 30 over phase, one session basically. One session, you take 7-8 wickets. Basically, Rabada takes 5 wickets. His teammates take 3, and you take 7-8 wickets in a session, and you turn the match on its head. The opposition is going comfortably at 100 for 2, and then they get bowled out for 160, 170, and then Elgar comes into play. We have seen things like that. I'm not saying this will happen, but these happen. These things have happened.
Yeah.
It is unlikely, but it cannot be ruled out. I think South Africa have enough quality players. This is not the best side, but they have enough quality players to hit India back.
Yeah.
But the thing is, India have been put under pressure in the past. In the last year, we have seen that at Sydney, we have seen that at Brisbane. Lord's Oval, India have been put under pressure, even in Kanpur and Bombay. India have been put under pressure, but they have come back. And that is largely due to their fast bowlers, their bowlers, essentially. If you have a strong bowling attack, and for India, the word strong I'm using it very lightly. If you have a superlative bowling attack like India's, I mean, they can turn any match around. South Africa, I'm not ruling South Africa out, but India are definitely a far stronger team. And that is because of their bowlers.
Yeah. It's pretty much a contest of two. I mean, one superlative fast bowling attack and the other one just trying to cope up with that competition in their home conditions. And as far as the batting is concerned, Even Captain Dean Elgar, South Africa Captain Dean Elgar, mentioned it in after the last game that the difference was pretty much India's batting between the two scores. I mean, Indian batters, probably KL Rahul and the way Mayank Agarwal they coped up with
The
in that
Centurion of
first day, and
Centurion.
they yeah, the Centurion of Centurion. Those 272 runs for 3 wickets on day one. I think those were the big difference maker in
The
terms of the runs that were scored.
forget even that. The first session had sealed the match.
Yeah, that was a good first session. And speaking on that, do you will you mind if India make any changes before this particular test match as far as the batting lineup is concerned?
The only change I can see happening is will entirely depend on the pitch. I repeat, entirely on the pitch, because is whether India will want to bring in Ishant for Ashwin.
Yeah.
Five fast bowlers.
They did go with five fast bowlers last time around.
Yes.
Hardik Pandya, of course, in the
Yes.
mix.
Same role for Shardul Thakur. So India may go
Yeah,
because we saw. I mean, Ashwin, an all-time great bowler, but there may not be anything for him to do.
yeah,
I
true.
mean, if he is reduced to bowling 5 overs per innings, there's no point. There's really no point. I mean, if that is the case, then save him for conditions that will suit him.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And as far as South Africa is concerned, what are the changes do you think now, given that you know the first test is over, and after all the discussion that has taken place beyond the first test as well, which are the personnel changes that you believe should happen
Add a fast
before the
bowler. Add a
Johannesburg test?
fast bowler. South Africa are down in this series. The only way
Yeah,
for them to win is to win at least one more test match. And for that, they
true.
need to take 20 Indian wickets cheaply. And India can't be undone by spin on this pitch. So they have to play another fast bowler. That is the only way out. They have to strengthen their pace attack. You may
Yeah,
play 11 batters, but you can't win a test match unless your fast bowlers take 20 wickets at Johannesburg.
definitely.
However strong your batting may be, you have to
Yeah.
take those 20 wickets, and here you need the fast bowlers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, South Africa will need inspiration going into the second test to do something really special, which is to avoid a defeat and get back into this series. But let's talk about what India's head coach Rahul Dravid had to say in the press conferences. Two interesting bits that he has mentioned before this second test, one of which is, of course, on captain Virat Kohli. And it's talked about how he's kept the morale high. And things haven't been tough when Virat has led the team. And he said that I couldn't speak more highly about him on and off the field. He's been fantastic to keep the team in good space. And these are the kind of traits we knew about Virat Kohli. As far as this test side is concerned, he has had so much to do in terms of being the architect of this team, or was it the last India tour of South Africa, where it all began on this particular ground in 2018. And it's going to be a nice, complete, full circle for him as well going into this test match.
It's also nice, always nice to see a captain and a coach speaking highly of each other. They are on
Yeah,
very good terms. The
yeah,
captain doesn't. I mean, the coach goes to attends press conferences. He speaks highly of the captain. It's always nice to see that. I
yeah.
mean, we have seen captain coach manager arguments in the past. We have seen Azruddin and Bedi. We have seen Srirupa Ghosh and Purnima Rao. We have seen Shourab Ganguly and Greg Chappell. We have seen Mitali Raj, Ramesh Pawar. We have seen Kohli and Kumble. I can name at least five from memory.
And we've also
And
heard quite a few noises from the outside in the recent
yep, yep.
times. So yeah, this
So
probably
it's
is a
nice
good
to
leader.
see that nice to see Kohli and Shastri and Dravid showing so much mutual respect. That is always good for any side. So it was
Yeah.
also nice to see them dance together, but that's another story.
It was also nice to see Cheteshwar Pujara put up a few steps. I think it was
I, I,
Sarah Virus on Twitter who mentioned that as far as India's test team improvements are concerned, one of the obvious improvements has been Cheteshwar Pujara pulling off dance steps. And from the
Yeah, so I
2018
think Shastri
MCG
or
dance to
someone
this.
mentioned. So Shastri or someone
Yeah.
mentioned, right? His hands don't move.
Yeah, they were moving. They
So
were moving pretty fine as far as the last video was concerned.
yeah, so yeah. See, Pujara
But
had to learn. He will have to get used to this. He is
yeah,
India have won 11 test matches in Sena countries since
yeah.
2010-11, and he is the only one common to all of them. So by now he should
Yep.
have learned to dance.
Well, it definitely needs to, because there will be more occasions which will come. But another
And
interesting bit that Rahul Dravid added in the press conference was on the points deduction, which we have talked about before as well. And this has come into the frame before in the last World Test Championship cycle. Rules are the same for everyone, he said, but disappointing to lose out on hard earned overseas points. We understand it. Trying to get better overseas. It'll be disappointing if we miss out the WTC final because of that. But now my point here is that this was in conversation in the last World Test Championship cycle. Why aren't these things discussed before another championship
same
cycle
question,
begins
same question.
rather than in between?
Same question. I mean, this is a valid point, a very pertinent point, but this should have been raised by every country, every participating country before ahead of the test, ahead of the World Test Championship. Now, India will
Yeah,
have an advantage. I'll tell you why. India will play more series in the subcontinent than say Australia or England, and playing a series in the subcontinent involves more spin, which will improve their over rate. So overrate problems will arise mostly in England, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand. And these four teams who play their home matches there are
yeah,
likely to be affected more. So India will benefit from this rule. In this case, they'll lose points, but overall they'll benefit. But
yeah.
I don't think it's fair to deduct points in matches that reach decisions.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And Australia lost points, by the way, in the last cycle. So they are very wary of this particular rule. And we hope that it doesn't come in the way
See,
of the competition that we see.
I don't think England or Australia will want to lose points because they will come under scrutiny.
Yeah,
India should want this rule to stay because, as I said, they will benefit. But if Dravid himself is not very pleased with this, I mean, and if England, Australia, and India agree on something, that will happen. Maybe not in this cycle.
definitely. Yeah. Well, let's talk predictions then going into the second test. A, who's going to be the highest run scorer or the best batter throughout the test, and B, who's going to be the highest wicket taker in the second test. What are your thoughts?
Last time it was Shami, so this time it will be Bumrah.
The shared interest. Okay, they have this agreement. Okay, I'm going to be
Yeah.
the best bowler
And the
in the
third test, it
second
will be
test.
Siraj.
South African bowlers, by the way, taking in their camp. These are
See,
our home conditions.
if Rabada finds his groove, gets into his
Yeah.
groove, then I'll say Rabada in the third test. But that Rabada is missing. I really miss watching that. I really miss that Rabada from 2017-18. I
It
mean,
probably has a
he,
lot to do with too much cricket action that these superstar players somehow lose that spice because there's just been too much cricket. I mean,
also, I don't
overall, if
know.
you
I
talk,
mean, I have not covered South African. I mean, I'm not sure how COVID has affected their practice, their camps, their domestic cricket. Uh, he is just not the same bowler. He used to be one of the best in the world, if not the best, about 3 years ago.
yeah,
He is still one of the best, but he is probably not in the top three anymore.
yeah.
That bit is gone. I really miss that Tabata. I hope he finds form. I also hope that happens after this series.
I was about to say it will be great for the series as far as neutrals are
No.
concerned, but then again,
Okay,
you put that
okay,
aside.
okay. After India, I take a 2-0 lead.
Oh, of course, it should be 2-1, right? I mean, in Cape Town, South Africa,
No,
maybe
it should be
can
3
find.
0 but with Rabada taking 12 wickets at Cape Town. I don't mind that.
Wow, how okay? We've seen Ajaz Patel pick up quite a
Yeah.
few wickets and New
14.
Zealand, so yeah, it can happen. But okay, final bit: India winning it in Johannesburg. You believe keeping the streak intact, or is there
The
a twist
fast
in the
bowlers
tail
are
end?
still fit. All fast bowlers are fit as
As
of
of
now.
now, yeah. Yeah,
Then
as
India
of
should
now.
win.
There you go. You've heard it. It's nice and crisp out here in Cricket News Live. Abhishek Mukherjee has said that India is going to create history in this Joburg test, and we wish they do. And when they do, we will be here to discuss how they did it and pretty much all of what has happened in the test. That's it from us at Cricket News Live this time around. Thank you so much for joining us and for everything about cricket. Stay tuned.